Hey, I'm Dr. Paul Dyer. Welcome to Weekly Wednesday. I have been in a little bit of traveling and moving and getting some situations done, but I never forget my Weekly Wednesday. So, welcome to Weekly Wednesday with Dr. Paul. And, along what I do with my Bridges live on Mondays and my weekly on Fridays, I just want to say thank you to all my listeners and all the people who do send me things to Dr. Paul Holistic Science. So I just want to get into something really fast. Of course, Weekly Wednesday is short and sweet and to the point, and I like to ask questions. I like to try to give solutions about the emotional sciences and the state that we live in. But we're coming up with live no lie, have no shame. What do we what do we and who are we has always been a question, right? Because if we don't know what our human development is and how it affects our lives and how we're living our lives and how it's clouded our contact with and our connection with ourselves or a higher power, we tend to just be lost in the woods, and we know that. And then many people work on it, and then we have work week, and then travel and traffic and accidents and bill pay, and then we can go on and on and on and on. And people say, "Well, that's not disastrous. It's not sadful. It's not anything." But are we merciful in our actions? I actually believe that we are grieving for so much. I think individually we're grieving. And if you look up grief and mourning, and it has nothing to do with death, right? It has nothing to do with something of a death. But if you look at it just as in death, it means something we've lost. It's something we used to have that we don't have anymore. Whether it be a relationship that you don't have, or it could a good or bad relationship. It's something you don't have. That's something you're so used to. That's something that you revolved your life around, knowing that that's what it was, and now it's not there. It could be a neighborhood. It could be a job. It could be anything, and we don't look at that as grief. And I believe we're grieving. I believe if we're grieving, and since we're grieving, there are a lot of things that plays on that with our emotional state of grief. The sorrowful, developing a new identity of who we are, what we should be, or what we can be, right? And if identity is an issue, and if you're grieving, and I know you're grieving, I really believe it. If you're grieving and not reaching out, allowing people to come in, or letting people go. Because some people don't understand your grief. So they say things that is supposed to be meant to help, and it's so hurtful. Because you have not expressed, we have not expressed, that collectively have not expressed that we are grieving. I'm grieving of a loss. I know that. I know how I'm grieving of the loss. I know who and what I've lost and how I'm grieving. And I understand how it affects me emotionally. Yes, I cry, and yet you still got to do, your practice. You got to do your meditation. You got to do your mental training, your physical training, your spiritual training. You got to do your education on your mentalness, your physicalness, your spiritualness. Then you got to put it into the practice of your mentalness, your physicalness, and your spiritualness. Those are the things that are in balance. Even in the martial sciences, if we don't keep those things balanced, then the enemy, that enemy outside of yourself, will throw you, will defeat you, and destroy you. And grief is not an enemy, but it's a journey. And you can develop balance in that journey, even going through it. Are we waiting on our superhero to save us? I hope not. Become your own personal superhero. Become the one that you know you can be. And if you're grieving, please express it. I know I am, and I do express it. I wish you all great love, great success, great happiness, and great joy. And again, find your hero within yourself. I love you all. This is Dr. Paul Dyer. This is Weekly Wednesday.